Now, Chad is the founder of CD Situation, which is a holistic organisation that provides CBT with the use of multimedia. Chad is also a writer, a poet, scriptwriter, producer, and more. The speech entitled The Misunderstanding of the Modern Day Male. It's Chad Wall, everybody!
Thank you. There is no place for the modern day male in today's society. What constitutes to making a male? We think of things like being a provider, being a protector, the breadwinner. These things all seem positive, but they also have negative connotations to it. When a male can't express himself, he builds up too much testosterone. And that is expressed through usually physical, aggressive, high tone expression. If you also look at the other emotions which a male needs to become a man needs to be empathic. A man needs to have understanding. And a man needs to learn how to care and love. The funny thing about it, all these other things what I mentioned in the second part of what a man needs goes swept under the carpet. And all the negatives about a male is pushed forth. This also causes a lot of negative things. Throughout my research, I found that there's an international day on the 19th of November every year, which is a day celebrated for men and their health. And you see the statistics are very high for suicide rates, homelessness, and the list goes on and on. Over Christmas, I was sitting down with my grandfather, because this topic's been playing on my mind for months and months and months on end. And I spoke to my grandfather. We spoke about the 1950s, the 1960s, and the 1970s. And at that moment, I had an epiphany. What I realized is that the modern day male has no voice. I call this silent screams. Now, me saying this is not portraying that females are bad. Females are beautiful in every single sense, but males are really overlooked. I have two sons. I have three kids, but I got two sons. My eldest is 18, and my youngest is turning 3 this year. It's got significance to the story. I'm not just talking about my sons. I've noticed that my 3-year-old is very empathic, he's intuitive, he's got freedom of expression. On the flip side, my 18-year-old, he's got this aura of masculinity. I say, you okay? Yeah. How you feel? Not good. And then he will behave in a certain way which makes me question. And I goes, what are you doing? I'm becoming a man. So I sat down with my son, my eldest son, and I took my youngest son to the park. So we're sitting down on the park bench. And I've said to my eldest son, what has your younger brother Eli got what you haven't? My son looked at me, very perplexed. Like, I kept on repeating the question. Eventually, we left the park, got something to eat, and we was driving home. My son, at the back, started to have tears flowing down his eyes, and he turned to me and he said, "Dad, I love you." In that moment, I asked him why. He told me I've acknowledged my feelings. And I said, everyone has feelings. You're allowed to cry, just like you're allowed to laugh. You're allowed to be humble, just like you're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to feel somebody else's emotions and not just suppress yours. The funny thing is that we need more advocates of the same thinking. The man is the head of the household and the woman is the neck. So I've started to realise through my research for this speech that there's a lot of decapitated homes, even those ones with fathers who actually live in there. But this needs to change. I actually looked at, like I said, my son, so I've done some more research. There was a program on Channel 4 about young kids and they were studying 5 and 6 years old. So I went back and I watched it and I studied the females and I studied the males. And what I've become to realise is that males are allowed to express themselves in a certain way and females are allowed to express themselves in a certain way. But these also, the ways they are expressing themselves need to be inverted also so we can have equally yoked kids going in our society for tomorrow. Thank you very much.